Hello, everyone. A very good evening to one and all present over here. Yes, we could see a lot of people are joining in. Let's wait for some time. So, first of all, I just want to wish all the women out there a very happy International Women's Day. So, today, it's all about celebrating strength, passion, love, and care. So, happy Women's Day to all the incredible and lovely women out there. Yeah, slowly the number is increasing. Yes. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to the event RRR, where you all know RR means revitalize, reignite, and reconnect. So let's have this session absolutely RRR. Our panelists are almost ready and are waiting to meet you all, greet you all. So, and I just want to request to the audience, in the participants, you can just keep the chat active, and if anything is there, you can just always put in the chat bot over there your queries or anything you want to say to any panelist. Thank you, Patil. Thank you so much. So Rupali is wishing us all. Yeah. So there are many people replying in the chat. Happy Women's Day. So once again, happy Women's Day to all of them. So today's session is all about RRR, that is revitalizing confidence, reigniting homeopathy, and yes, reconnect with TOS, the Song Academy. So we are here with absolute the expert panelist, and our panelists are also RRR, I must say, which is radiant, ravishing, and rejoiceful. I hope the panelists will
Nice.
agree with that, right?
Thank you.
True, true.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So, yes, the people are joining in. So, I would just take this opportunity to introduce all the panelists one by one. So, starting with the first panelist. Talking about this panelist, she's an award winning homeopathic medicine practitioner since 2009, specialized in the sensation method, integrated into classical homeopathy with psychotherapy for holistic healing. She's also an expert in women's fitness and nutrition and has worked with NGOs supporting human trafficking survivors, disaster relief, the LGBTQ plus community, and addiction recovery. A key contributor to the Ayush program, homeopathy, for mother and child care. She is honored with the New Healer of India in 2018, the Pathbreaker in 2020, and COVID and flood relief recognition. She's a renowned speaker, trainer, mentor. She's continued to impact lives globally. And she's none other than Dr. Sadaf Ulde. So, Dr. Sadaf, the audience is awaiting to hear from you. Over to you.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see a huge group today. And I wish everybody over here a happy Women's Day.
Dr. Sadaf, you want to add anything or elaborate something more about you? Like,
So, mostly what I can say is my whole journey of in homeopathy started with other song, and for I've been associated with other songs since long time, and it's has been a journey of continuous learning. And I think the only way to keep your passion on is keep learning, keep doing new things. My audio is low.
it's perfect.
Okay. So yeah, so the main thing is that keep learning and keep getting new experiences in life. That's how you can grow in your practice, and that has been the key in my journey in homeopathy. That's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Sadaf, for the introduction. Yeah. So the next panelist I would like to say is Dr. Devang Shah. Dr. Devang Shah is a BHMS and MD in homeopathy. He has graduated from DS Homeopathic Medical College in the 2008 year, and he has completed his post graduation in Organon of Homeopathy from the same college, that is Dondumama Sathe College, in the year later. He is practicing homeopathy since 2008 and has earned a reputation for treating pediatric diseases and rheumatoid arthritis. His ability to make children at ease and comforting attitude to reduce parents' anxiety makes him extremely approachable and friendly. So, Dr. Devang, would you like to address our audience? Okay. So, Dr. Devang seems will join soon. Okay. So, we'll just take over the next speaker. Okay. So, the next speaker is an enlightening personality, I must say. Okay, so Dr. Rishi Vyas is an MD homeopathy, and he's an in-house consultant and faculty member at the Other Song Clinic. He has played a vital role in shaping the institute since its inception in 2011. He graduated from Panchashil Homeopathic Medical College and then gained experience in treating patients in rural area. He followed up masters in homeopathic medicine from Foster Homeopathic Medical College, Aurangabad. He assisted Dr. Rajan Sankar in his charitable OPD in Mama Devi Homeopathic Hospital, which is in Mumbai. His lectures on case taking process, themes of plant and families are very much appreciated by the students around the world. So, Dr. Rishi, please address our audience more about you.
Thank you, Jui. Uh, a warm welcome to everyone on today's important day. A very happy Women's Day to everyone, my fellow female colleagues and my friends over there. It gives me great pleasure to be on this platform today. And it's very important topic which the team has taken. And I believe and I genuinely feel that today homeopathy maximum is being practiced by female colleagues, but for whatever reasons and challenges they face, unfortunately, they are not into practice. But I sincerely believe that the backbone of homeopathy lies with them, and it will be a great opportunity to be a part of their journey. So I welcome you all and thanks the organization for making this platform available. And today they can take the best use of it.
Thank you, Dr. Rishi. So, the next speaker, I must say, she's exactly like her name. She has done a BHMS PG homeopathy from London, fellowship in advanced homeopathy and psychiatry. Okay, she's a senior homeopath practicing since 1996 in Mumbai. She has graduated from Mumbai and she has done a post graduation from London College of Homeopathy, where she has mentored and trained by her guide, Dr. Parinas Hamrawala. Her passion for healing the sick and spreading awareness drew her to teaching the art and science of homeopathy, and she has been teaching advanced techniques in the practice of homeopathy in various courses held at the Other Song International Academy. Her specialty is in treating skin and hair problems. She is one of the popular teacher in the Other Song Academy for the master's course. In this course, her lectures on kingdom differentiation, themes of plant families, themes of animal classes, themes of minerals are very well appreciated. So let's welcome the elegant personality, Dr. Sunita Gandhi.
Thank you, Julie. And a very, very warm welcome to all my female fellow homeopaths who have joined in today. I think I am more excited to address you all because, a lot of you who have joined in today are probably at a place where I was once upon a time. And, I have been there, have had, not like complete breaks, but I've had times when I've had to cut down practice because of challenges that came up in my family, having gotten married, having had a baby. And it has been a struggle the first few years. But I have personally worked around it and come out and, gone ahead and built a practice and even now started teaching for the last 10, 12 years. So I think I'm happy that you all are here. Maybe a few words from people like us who have already walked that same path will probably help you go through with your challenges. So I'm glad that we are here and I look forward to the session. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sunita. So next personality, the next panelist we have is Dr. Sonali Bhosle. So Dr. Sonali, she is a veteran homeopath, researcher, and academician. With 20 plus years of clinical practice, she holds expertise in healing critical medical conditions. She worked as assistant professor at Bharati Vidyapeeth's Homeopathic Medical College, Pune, where she taught homeopathic materia medica and helped students to develop an understanding of the subject to utilize homeopathy as the first choice of treatment. Dr. Sonali is a distinguished speaker at the state level homeopathic congress, Ayush programs, patient awareness camps, student mentoring sessions at the Homeopathic Medical College, and at corporate events. She has published several articles in leading newspapers and homeopathic magazine to educate the community at large on holistic living benefits. Currently, she is consulting homeopath at Prana Homeopathy Yoga Center, Pune. She is also faculty at the Other Song International Academy, Mumbai. So, Dr. Sonali,
Hi,
Dr. Sonali,
Julie.
over to you.
Yes. Hello, all of you. It's so nice to have this initiative and this session, especially planned on Women's Day, where we can help each other through our experiences and our journeys, and to continue our passion for homeopathy and passion for healing with homeopathy. So that's what, and let the session, it will be a warm session with all of you, all of your questions. It will also help us to go back to our days and how we maneuvered through it. So thank you, Julie, and let's look forward for an exciting session.
Yes, Dr. Sonali. So, we all are looking for a very exciting session. So, let's move to our next panelist. Talking about this panelist, she is Dr. Aradhana Chitra. She has been an active homeopathic practitioner and has been involved in education for over 20 plus years. She heads the Bangalore Satellite Center of the Other Song Academy, which is world-renowned homeopathic research and education institution. She has successfully conducted advanced courses like CCAH, FCAH, and Master's Program, held every year at the Bangalore Satellite Center. She has also mentored doctors of Dr. Batra's clinic by imparting specialist training and guiding them in solving difficult and complicated cases. Dr. Chitra often speaks at conferences and is a regular author of case studies. Her cases have been published by the International Journal of Homeopathy and are often featured in homeopathic conferences. So, Dr. Aradhana, the audience is awaiting to
Yeah.
hear from you.
So, good evening, everyone. So, firstly, a very happy Women's Day, and it's such a pleasure to have you all join us to listen to us and our journey so that we could help you encourage and build the confidence in practicing to restart your practice, because I today feel that homeopathy is the need of the hour. And we really need homeopaths, and because of also a lot of awareness that is around even today, in allopaths, for the allopaths, there's a lot of awareness. So for me, it's a pleasure if I could contribute with some of my experiences to help you gain that confidence to begin and start your practice, which we all are here with that mission. So yes, we'll be there to solve all your queries. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aradhana. So, before moving to the last panelist, I just want to request to all the participants, the chat box is open. Any queries you have, you can just always put in the chat box. Okay. So talking about our last panelist for the event is Dr. Shardul Joshi. Dr. Shardul, he has completed BHMS from SK Homeopathic College from Bhid and MD Homeopathy from ML Institute, Palghar, Maharashtra. He's a classical homeopath practicing in Pune since 11 plus years. He has worked as Ayush Medical Officer at Ayush Department in Civil Hospital in Pune for 10 years. He is a consultant at Prana Homeopathic Yoga Center. He is a lecturer in various courses and seminars organized by Prana and Other Song Academy, Mumbai. He is a regular speaker at various national and state level seminars and various homeopathic colleges in and outside Maharashtra. Dr. Shardul, please address our audience.
Hello, everybody. So usually in BHMS college, we see that maximum girls and very less number of boys. But in practice, what we see the exact opposite picture. Very few female homeopath practicing, but uh, and maximum, right? We see the male homeopathic practitioners. If you ask somebody, tell me the 10 successful homeopathic female practitioners. So we have to think, right, for a little bit. But now with the changing time, and you could see this beautiful panel of today's discussion, right, homeopath, everybody is successful in their practice. And I think with this changing time, this trend should change. Maximum female homeopaths should come because homeopathy is both art and science, and I think we lack little bit in artistic part, right? So female they have the natural ability, artistic mindset. So I think homeopathy would benefit more if you more and more female comes in homeopathic practice. So I think today's effort is I think today's session is one of the efforts towards that. And I think I will thank the song Prana Hope for creating this opportunity where we could share our experiences and listen from you. And I think this will be a beginning for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shardul. Yeah. So people are joining slowly. Okay. So I just want to say the participants, like, as you know, we have just shared an email to all of you to share your queries. Okay. So we have received a lot of queries. So initially, we'll just begin by answering those queries. And during the event, you can also just drop your queries into the chat box. We'll just address those queries as well. Okay. So let's move to the questionnaire session. Okay. So definitely there were some questions specifically for the speakers as well, and the first question we have is for Dr. Sunita. Dr. Sunita, the first question is mental is vast, so interpretation of the mind symptoms, understanding them and even converting it into rubrics is a challenge. So how do you think we can overcome this, Dr. Sunita?
Yes, thank you, Julie. So I totally agree that, mental rubrics, that's the biggest segment that we have in our repertory also. And it is, nobody has said it is easy, but it can be simplified. What my suggestion is, what I have done, I began with what I knew. So whatever you have learned in your college is a very good start point. You begin with that and then you build. In our times, like I passed out like 33 years back, 32 years back, and that time we didn't even have telephones, or mobiles. Now we have Google with us right next to us. So if there is a difficulty in finding out the meaning of the rubric, it will be good to go and check what the meaning is, and you can build on it. But my thing is, don't wait to learn it all or become great in the mental rubrics and then start your practice. Begin wherever you are. I always tell my students, whatever knowledge you have about homeopathy is enough for you to start. And as you practice, you will come across more cases, you will come across more symptoms that you will convert to rubrics, and then you search. So while you work, you also learn. I mean, that is the way that has helped me. So my main thing is, you don't really need to be great to start, but you can start and then move towards greatness. So begin with whatever you have and build on it. Learn from, and even in nowadays, there are so many courses available, online, offline. uh, you know our times you finished PHMS and then you are on your own. There are so many mentorship programs. In fact, the other song, International Academy for Advanced Homeopathy, is the best thing that could have happened for young homeopaths, wherein they can build on whatever they have learned in their college. And they have fabulous array of teachers, mentors. So you get associated with some course, get guidance, learn from people, and move ahead. But begin. Do not wait to know it all and then go ahead. Right? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunita. It was really inspiring and motivating. So we have second question. Dr. Sonali, the question is for you. What are essential homeopathic remedies that every beginner should have in their kit, and how do one decide which potency to use?
Yeah. So I feel as a beginner, we should start with Allen's keynotes and Nash, very simple books which we are acquainted with, as in considering BHMS and all syllabus. So I feel at least we should have in our kit 30 polycrest remedies to start with, and a good knowledge of these remedies. So knowledge of remedies means at least we should be aware about the constitution and what are the strong physicals in this remedy. Not only, see, mentals are important, but many times the remedies for a beginner, many remedies seem similar. So if they are able to find how is the constitutional makeup of this remedy and what are the strong physicals it is indicated from, then you can go and see the differentiation. So 30 polycrest remedies and a rest of the remedies, what all are given in Nash and Allen's keynotes to begin your practice. And gradually, what all if you feel, oh, this remedy, this potency is not available for me, you can always order that. You can start with 200 as a potency, because 200 being just I'm suggesting that because patients do speak a lot on the level of emotions, and we are, as a beginner, we are able to take the emotional state of mind. So 200 potency is a good potency to start with. And as you gain your confidence and as you feel ki, oh, I can evaluate this case well, and the mentals are really very remarkably present, then you can go for higher potency. So this is my take for initial beginners.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sonali. So next question we have for Dr. Aradhna. Dr. Aradhna, the question is like, how important is persistence in building a successful homeopathy practice, and how can one stay motivated despite initial challenges like a slow patient flow or self-doubt?
Yeah, this is really important and the question, and it takes me to my earlier times when we started, when you have very slow inflow of patients, and automatically what happens is that, there is a kind of a self-doubt. You start doubting yourself, whether did you give the right remedy? I am not having patients, no one is calling me. Obviously, in the initial time, it takes time for people to know that you are there. So the self-doubt does creep in. But I think that one needs to overcome that. And what I would do is that I would, in fact, take that time to start connecting with patients. I would call them up. I would ensure that every time the patient came, 2 weeks later, I would give them a call. And what would happen? Maybe I did it, but just to know whether the patient is fine or not with the remedy. But what happened in turn is I developed a very good uh, uh, bonding. They developed a trust in me and a kind of a relationship which happened between me and the patient, because they realized that, I'm very concerned about them. And so I'm giving them a call. And that really helped me, that in those times. And I remember, because that time we had a lot of time, and I connected with those patients. And today, the patients who connected with me 25 years back are still my patients. It's just because of the connection that I called them up, I spoke to them and build that rapport, whether your remedy works or not. But the trust that you build in them, that you are there for them. That I think is very important. That what one should do when that slow inflow happens. Other thing is also you can use your time during that time is learning, upgrading your skills. As Dr. Sunita said, there are so many courses available now, so many webinars available, online information. Go through that, because that will again help you to gain confidence when you hear the masters, senior homeopaths, solving cases. That again would instill your confidence in your pathy, and more knowledge, more info. So that will keep you positive. So the idea is that even that self-doubt comes, don't get into the negativity of kind of analyzing yourself, but rather than that, take that time, upgrade yourselves, connect with the patient to build the trust, build that relationship, which in turn will help you increase your practice. So this is what I would tell you, and to have a positive attitude, and that would keep you going. So this is what I would tell. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Aradhana. So that was a very optimistic advice, I must say. So the next question we have is for Dr. Rishi. Dr. Rishi, the question was like, after a break, when one starts practice and has difficulties, what can one do?
Namaste, everyone. Now, when one starts practice, initially, from whatever background we come through, we start our prescriptions. And there are cases, and everyone definitely has, that they face challenges, and in both in acute and chronic cases. My simple advice would be that definitely be in touch either with a small group which is nearby local, who are where you can study about it, where you can share your cases, or a platform and get an interaction about what's going on and share your doubts within them. This is the most easy thing, because when you are in local, there's a physicality where you can go and have a discussion over there. The second is definitely the same thing. If you are associated with a community, if you are associated with an organization, and that organization or a community can help and interact with each other to share your difficulty, that will be nothing like that. Third, if you have any mentor, or if you have any senior physician to whom you rely and trust, and you know that can help, you can take your cases over there and then follow it up, how things are progressing. And this helps you in two ways. One is that you have already taken a case and you know from what point of view you have prescribed. And B, you also know another perspective of another person, to how he or she has prescribed and how the patient is progressing. So in this, there is a lot of learning which happens. And honestly, the case is always the best way to learn forward, right? Definitely we need read mathematics and repertory, but challenging cases where we face difficulties, and when we refer to our seniors, or we refer to a group, or we refer to our known people, and they help us and they give a perspective, that's the best thing we can do for our patients. So there's a lot of benefit when we are associated, or we are in touch with our mentor, or we are our senior doctors. This helps us to learn about how they approach the case, how they treated it. It helps you to upgrade your own self. So my advice would be in touch with a good mentor, organization, or a person to whom you look forward, and learning can happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rishi. So the questions are coming on, and the next question we have is for Dr. Sadaf. Dr. Sadaf, the question is, how do one differentiate between an aggravation and a wrong prescription?
So this has been a question which I believe every homeopath has, when patient come, especially when they come and tell you, hello doctor, your medicine was good, but you know, this thing happened, that happened. So we get all frenzied as to what it is. Is it a homeopathic aggravation, or is it a um, general aggravation of the disease? And many times I see homeopaths, especially as a beginner, you panic at that stage and you tend to change the remedies very quickly. So what do we do? How do we understand what is a homeopathic aggravation? By definition, we all know that homeopathic aggravation occurs when a correct homeopathic remedy is given. Okay. Now, what happens in this is symptoms intensify, okay, but there is a general improvement. Mostly here, you have to look for signs. For example, is it a short and live reaction? Is it very temporary? Is it the aggravation of the original symptoms, or is it something where the patient is very susceptible to? And what is the general state? I'll give you an example from my practice where a patient um, came with a lot of suppressed grief. And while I was taking the case, she was not able to speak anything. Like the first question, which was, given to Dr. Sunita about the mental symptoms. So forget mental symptoms, she was not even in the state of giving physical symptoms. She was only in a bad shape and in a total numb state. And looking at the case, I gave her a remedy. And immediately after the remedy, like within 2 or 3 days, she called up and she said, I'm very bad. I'm in a very bad condition. And I asked her what happened. And she said that she had a exploring anger on people around her. And she wept for hours. And while I was doing my follow-up with her, I also went into a therapy session, and there was so much of, you know, externalization of all her symptoms. She started speaking and crying and weeping. That gave me a edge to give her another remedy. And, so that was a good sign for me. And then she had a immediate relief. She had came mainly for her menstrual problems. Immediately after this, she had her menses coming and things got regulated. So sometimes homeopathic aggravation is good, and that you will have to understand by knowing the history completely. And what is a worst case scenario, or how do you know if the symptoms are worsening or you're going in the wrong direction? Number one, there will be no reaction to the original disease. So there's no improvement, there is no subsequent relief, no general sense of well-being. Emotionally, mentally, patient is more and more in discomfort, and you don't see any kind of Herring's law. So you know that there is no relief in this condition, and you see there are newer symptoms developing. So that's the time where you understand that your remedy has gone somewhere very wrong, and it's the time to reevaluate the case and change the remedy. Thank you. I hope this answers.
Yes, Dr. Sadaf. Thank you so much. So, we have received a query from the audience. Okay, so let's answer that. Dr. Aradhana, would you like to answer the question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. The question is, the main problem is there is the lack of proper guidance for homeopathic practice. So no one actually shares the secret of how to select proper remedy, and if by chance we fail to get proper remedy, how we should have a backup plan.
Yeah. So first of all, just know that there is no secret for anyone for a proper remedy or a right remedy. There is no secret. Whatever we are doing today is all out of our experience and the knowledge and what we have gradually upgraded ourselves, constantly learning today. That's what we do. And during our times also, there was no one really hand holding us. But what we knew is the info. And obviously, and to be frank, now we are there for you. During our times, we didn't have anyone to hand hold or we could go to them. But today, I'm thanks to Dr. Shankaran that he's built a team and the courses which were not available even during our early times. So they are there all for the courses and to do your hand holding. That is one thing. So you will always have someone you can approach. But the other thing is that if you fail, as you said, what's your backup plan if you fail? Firstly, just know that every time you wouldn't be right. Because our practice is not really like the allopathic practice that you have fever and you give dodo, you have acidity and you give an antacid, Rantac. So our practice needs a lot of art and skill, which takes little time. And I think so today I do not get anxious that if I fail to give the remedy, the right remedy the first time, because I'm aware that I know that maybe if I faltered the first time, again I will, and I have the tools with me. We have repertories today, right? We have materia medica repertories. If not the first, I will give him the second time the right remedy. So that's the confidence that we have because of the resources that are available. So that confidence you have to put in the patient. That's it. That don't worry, it's okay. First time didn't happen, I will help you. If it didn't go through this route, I will take your mind. I will, somewhere wherever you went, you faltered. You will always have a way out. So this is the confidence you have to put in the patient that I will help you out, right? By chance. So I'm telling you our journey, how we also went through, right? So the failure that I failed to give the patient cure, I think should not deter you, because we know that there is a way that we can help them again. Secondly, even if it happens that this is a little further way of thinking, even if it happens in your practice that you fail the first time, second time, third time, you can guide the patient ahead, guide them ahead what they need to do further. I'll give you an example. Like one of my patients, the early times, she came a child with very high fever, and the first day he didn't become better. I gave him medicine. Second day she called, doctor, he's not fine. I'm like, I gave second time, still third time not better. And then I had to tell her that you please visit a pediatrician, because you need to do that. So she went to the pediatrician, and I had this feeling that, oh, I failed, I couldn't help her. But do you believe, but I was still in touch with her, that hope your child is okay, hope your child is okay. And believe me, after 2 weeks she comes back with saying that my other child is having a problem, can you please help? So what I realized was shocked that, I failed, but yet this lady is coming back to me. And what I realize is that it is not about our remedies, really. First is we are physicians. This lady, she realized that I was with her during her entire course of her illness. I was hand holding her. I ensured that her child is fine. So that part is more important, because we are, in the end, we are physicians ensuring their health, right? And then comes the homeopathy. So this is also one very important aspect. And that lady, she again trusted me. So I realized that me being with her built her trust in me. And now she calls me her family doctor. So that's the difference. So I would say, don't get deterred by your failures. Okay. If you think that you lack some knowledge, you couldn't help, be positive. And availability and knowledge, there is loads of information. And I think as TOS and with the team, and that is why we all are addressing you, that we all are there for you all, and you can attend, you can be a part of the academy, be a part of the courses, and we make a team. And that's how I think we all will grow. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, Dr. Aradhana. So we have received one question. Dr. Shardul, would you like to address the question? The question is, how should one document the cases properly for the future references?
Yes. So the documentation of or the proper documentation of cases is very important, and there are two aspects. One is a medical legal aspect, and second is for the practice. We are a homeopath, so it's very less likely that we need our cases, documented cases or records for the medical legal aspects or issues. But we should keep that thing in our mind also. And as a homeopath, many times we lack in those things. But keeping the good record, good documentation is very needed or very necessary. First thing is that either you can print a case paper with your name or clinic name, or you can just write it down on the plain paper. But keeping or storing it alphabetically is very important. So it is easy to refer, it is easy to find the paper. So alphabetical maintenance is very important. Then the demographic information, the name, the area, the address, the phone number, these are very small things, but are very important in long term. Whenever you want to find the patient, or if suppose you have given the medicine and patient is not coming back, so you should have something to call the patient back, right? You should have at least the number of patient, right? As Dr. Aradhana said, she used to call the patient, right? Initial practice we all do. We are curious what happened to the patient, so we call back to the patient. So taking all the details of patient is very important. Then keeping the record, either you can keep a physical copy, or nowadays we keep a electronic or digital copy. Both are okay, right? And medical legally also nowadays electronic or digital copy is okay. The question comes for how long we should keep the case records, right? Many times people ask, or student ask, how long we should keep. So there is no standard time how long we should keep. As per the authority, the timing changes. The different medical councils have different time period. Medical council says minimum 2 years or 3 years you should keep papers. Director General of Health has some different guidelines to keeping paper, right? For medical legal issues, maybe there is no such time, right? You can need any time the case record. So these are the medical legal aspects in that. Then for the keeping the paper, if you want to keep the paper longer also, you can just scan it and keep the electronic record also. For the follow-ups, when you take the follow-up, for the follow-up analysis, you can develop your abbreviations or symbols. So in short, you can write, or you can keep the follow-up, so you can save the space, and you can what you can say, accommodate more and more information in small space. Make it a habit. Please put always date when you take the follow-up, if possible time also. It is very important, because case record is a chronological notes where you write down all finding, examinations, and prescription on the paper. So make it a habit. Please write the dates. uh, then write all the suggestion. If you want to advise some investigation, so write down in the follow-up what investigation you have suggested to the patient. Next follow-up, patient comes, write it down, the investigation what you have suggested, what investigation patient did. Write down those investigations, or keep the electronic or digital copy or soft copy of those investigation with that date is also important. uh, then one more thing, for the storing purpose, right? When initially it will be not a problem, maybe first 2, 3, 4, 5 years of practice, but eventually after 10 years, the number of paper becomes a big problem. So whenever you keep it or store it, the place should be clean. There should be no moisture, or you should do regular pest control. It is very important, and this I have learned through my experience. So regular pest control is also important. If suppose patient stops the treatment and patient is not coming to you, how to discard the case paper is also important. You just cannot throw away the paper. Either you have to shred it, or either you have to burn it, right? So there are norms also how to get rid of medical record. That is also very important. So these are the few points, right? I feel important for the keeping record. And while you take the follow-up or during the case, please make it a habit. Write down small point, because what happens, next follow-up we forget, right? Many times if I don't write what I am thinking right now, next follow-up patient comes after 1 month, I will be completely blank. So now what I have started doing, I will write what investigation I have asked patient has denied or patient has agreed. I write it all the thing. If I prescribe, if I change the potency, I write down the reason also, why I have changed the potency, why I have changed the medicine. So these things are very important. Whenever in future patient comes for the follow-up, everything will be handy and ready for you, so you can refer easily. That's it. So I think if any query, any question on this, I can give the answer also. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Shardul, for a very elaborate explanation. Okay. So right now we'll just pick some questions from the audience. Okay. So we have received one question. So which homeopathic software is good for practice? So Dr. Rishi, would you like to address the question?
Hello, everyone. With regard to software, the basic idea is that when you are initially starting your practice, you can opt for any software which has basic repertories. Basic repertories, for example, 𝐾𝐸𝐴𝐻 or synthetic repertory or synthetic repertory, and Materia Medica, which has basic FATAC, 𝐾𝐸𝐴𝐻. And I believe all the softwares give you a basic version of itself. The reason I am saying to start with basic, because as you start practicing, as you know about the software, you can use more features later on. But in your initial practice, these books will be very helpful, right? And there are available softwares. For example, Synergy homeopathic software is available, which has all the books, which has various versions. On the market, you have other softwares. For example, RRR is there, Homepath is there, Mercular is there. And there are other softwares which has a specific purpose for it. For example, polarity analysis is there. And there is another software called as 𝗏𝑗𝑗96. So it depends upon what are you looking for. But to answer very straight, start with any basic version of any softwares. Many of the people who are not able to buy it, there are Android free version like Metramedica Live and other softwares which gives some repertorization to start with. For some few months you can start, and later you can switch to complete laptop version. However, I would tell that it would be great you buy it because it is an investment for a very longer time. I hope this helps you.
Yes, Dr. Rishi. Absolutely. So the next question, Dr. Sadaf, would you like to take up the question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the question was how to start homeopathic practice in remote area where no homeopathic awareness is there.
So to
Dr.
answer
Sadaf.
this, I'll give you a personal anecdote. Like when I started off with my practice, see, in remote areas, the key to practice is results. Okay. Once you give results, they don't bother whether you're giving them homeopathy, whether you're giving them allopathy, or you're giving them any, supernatural remedies. They don't care about it. What they care about is number one is results. Okay. So, giving a personal anecdote, I remember when I started off my practice, and some of my relatives suggested to start it in my native area. And in my native area, um, there was no concept of homeopathy. Like nobody in my village knew about homeopathy, what it is, how it is, and they only thought it was something mockery. But when they saw, like, I got one or two um, patients of very severe renal colic and renal calculus, and one patient of fibroid, and they miraculously they got better. Like the fibroids disappeared, the stones fell off, and this person who had renal stones, it was not just one odd stone. He had this recurring tendency for years because he was living in a Middle Eastern country for his work, and every time he will come down for his holiday break, he will go in to a urologist for a surgery. You know, so I think results are number one key. Number two is keep educating, and the upward promotions, like um, like creating an ad or something, will not work for them. What works, and to educate them, it's very important to be a part of them, to speak in their language. If you speak a language of some, like, the clinical language or homeopathic language or scientific language, they won't understand. Many times they will just rub on your face, why are you asking this question to me, right? And they will disregard answering your questions. But then when they see your passion into it, they follow you. And when they say, when they see obvious results, like during the time of COVID, I remember when I was invited to practice over there, um, the whole free clinic was organized by allopaths. There was a respirologist, there was one oncologist. They were all on board. They were all MBBS doctors, and they were all surgeons. And they were mocking when I said that I want to give homeopathy. But when I sat there with the whole conviction that no, I am going to, okay, don't give in the higher cases, but I'll give in the mild and moderate cases homeopathy. And when they saw the results, and when they experienced it, they automatically started believing, and more villagers started coming and asking for the homeopathic remedy instead of anything else. So I think that's the key. One is result, second is educating, third, educating in their language, not in the language you want to say. Okay. Third is being there for them. I think that's the key to start your homeopathic practice. Yes, other small steps that you can take is arrange a lot of camps, get into the panchayat system, or any like in community leaders, get in contact with community leaders and start building up from there. And I think that's how you can um, continue or practice in the remote area.
Thank you, Dr. Sadaf. The next question is, how do I take a thorough case history if I have no prior experience? Dr. Devang, the question is for you.
Okay, so thank you for this question. And the answer is very simple. First of all, let me tell you that there is nothing like a thorough case. The case taking starts when the patient takes the appointment, and it is a journey till the patient is there with you. So it only gets better and better with each follow-up. But as we are addressing to all the women who are wanting to start the practice and who have lost touch with system of medicine or homeopathy, there is one very easy way to do it. We have a 40-page booklet, or a case record form is what we call at the other song. You can just go to the website and download it. Any case comes to you, any case from hair fall to cancer, make sure that you sit with the patient and fill all the answers to the questions given in that particular form. And if you don't get 5 peculiar symptoms, I will stop practicing homeopathy. I can just bet on this. The only effort that you have to do is that you sit with the patient and make sure that the patient reflects on each and every question, and you write the exact answer in the way the patient is narrating. And I'm sure that you will get some peculiar symptoms, some good physical generals, some good important dreams or stressful situations, something about their nature. And that is where you can begin, repertorize whatever is available with you, go to the materia medica, see which is the remedy that has maximum similarity to it, and just go with the flow. And I'm sure that it will help you. There is no rocket science as far as case taking is concerned. If that is what is scaring you, that is the most easiest thing, is what I feel.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Devang, for your answer. So the next question we'll just pick from the audience. The question Claudia has asked: how do you feel about treating family and friends? Dr. Sunita, would you like to answer this question?
Yeah, sure. So I treat a lot of my family and a lot of my friends. And initially, I was a little hesitant, even to have family come over, because you are related, you have an emotional connect. And the biggest problem that would arise was, you would get emotionally connected in the story, and it was difficult to treat. And second problem that arose was, even the relative may have a common problem, and you could also be the source of the problem for all you know. And how do you go about helping them then? So, how I dealt with it, I think I learned this from Dr. Shankaran. One was to be a little detached when you are taking the case and not get emotionally involved with the patient. And two, you don't necessarily want to know the story. You want to know what the experience is with the story. So to give you an example, let's say my co-sister-in-law comes to me as a patient. She was in my clinic today morning, and she's going through certain challenges, and she does not want to tell me what exactly is the problem, because we are family, and she does not want it to go out in the family. What do you do then? When they are now very well aware, my family knows, okay, don't tell me what is the problem, tell me what you feel about the problem, tell me how is the problem affecting you, what does it make you think, what does it make you do. So you get, you don't get the situation, but you get the experience behind the situation, which is good enough to prescribe. So I personally feel, please go ahead and help your family and your friends. They are your inner circle. And why shouldn't they not be benefited with, the gift of homeopathy? And if you are able to help them, it's brilliant. So you can stay a bit detached and also give them that space. Second is confidentiality. Um, this happens with friends. Like I'm a very social person, and I have a lot of friend groups, but I see to it that never ever in any circumstance what that patient has told me, friend patient who has told me in the clinic, ever goes out. In fact, I also see to it, when they come to my clinic, their appointments are placed in a way that two friends are not sitting in the waiting room together, because people don't want to share their problem. It's very simple. They come to the waiting room. Acha, you are also coming to Dr. Sunita. What are you coming for? Not everybody wants to tell what they are coming for. So you have to be a little cautious about it. Um, don't move information, do not give. My lips are always sealed, and they are well aware that whatever I have told Sunita, it was not going to come out ever with anybody. So when they have that kind of assurance and they have seen it, they will be very happy to open up. And sometimes they open up with their gravest problems, which they have not told anybody. So you treat them as you treat the rest, but I think even better. So go ahead and treat your family and friends. No problems at all. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunita, for sharing your personal experience as well. I'm sure this will be very inspiring and motivating to the participants. Okay. So the next question will pick from the audience. Shweta Mahajan has asked the question, like, female patients nowadays have depression as a major problem, but they are on long-term antidepressants and switching to homeopathy. It's a bit of challenge for both homeopathic physician and the patient. So I would like to seek few tips in dealing such cases and how to take case and make the patient open up. Dr. Sonali, would you like to answer the question?
Yeah. Especially in these cases where they are affected mentally, or these psychologically, they are not able to speak up for themselves. So first we have to see is, have the patient come to the clinic on their own to know the pathology in mental cases, or these cases, or they are accompanied by relatives. So till the patient is able to come to you on their own, we can really help them to very gradually open up by being extremely empathetic here. Okay. So, and empathy really, it means where this can happen to me too. What is happening to you can happen to me too, and it is absolutely okay. It is it's only like somebody has disease of a stomach, or somebody has disease of lungs. It is somewhere your mind has got affected here. So I feel this kind of understanding can help the patient to open up a bit. But at times, there are more pathologically advanced cases. I suppose you're asking about mental cases, right? Yeah. So in such cases, you ask a question and they answer something totally different. That means the barrier between their ego and their superego has vanished. So what all is characteristic, they will go on speaking. I mean, without a barrier of the intellect, they just go on speaking, or they do not speak at all. Or they will present with certain repetitive gestures. So their positions, repetitive gestures, and what they are, and many times in these cases, they want to make a point and they go on speaking, and it's very difficult to contain them. So here the skill of the physician to which are the areas of life they want to speak on. This is what I do. Which is the area of life you feel very, you feel like speaking on. And then they will go on with that, and gradually, very skillfully, we have to come to them, writing down everything what they are saying. Please write down, jot down everything, and then very skillfully ask, so what you feel? So, here we have to give much more time than the regular cases. I have a case which has not opened for half an hour. She was not speaking anything. So I asked her in a different way, tried to, ask her sister to come in, share about her, but this was total shutdown. She did not want to speak. And a point came when the sister was explaining, and she said, no, it is not like that. And from that, the case began. So we have to be very open. Sometimes the patient will go on speaking. Sometimes they will speak very irrelevant, but that what seems irrelevant becomes relevant for us as homeopathic physicians. And observe the gestures, take information, the objective information from the relatives. What have they observed? Not what they feel about the person, but what have they observed? And anything in their lifetime has deep impact on them. So these 4-5 things does help to get a good case actually. And of course, our case taking skills will help us further, and making that person feel that you are heard and what all you are saying is extremely important. Because many times patients who speak a lot, generally they receive ki you don't say "Arey baapre, ye aa gaya, arey baapre," this kind of also they have experiences in their daily life, so they don't want to speak also. So being very sensitive towards this phase of life they are going through due to their disease can be very, very helpful. And closer follow-ups, and taking into confidence the person whom they are very close to. Sometimes they are close to their mother, sometimes they are close to their wife. This is what I'm saying from my experience, because these cases are generally kept aloof. So they do stay with their mothers, or, or they are sometimes put in, just on their own, and they feel here very left out. So being very sensitive about what phase of life they are going through, what scenario of life they are going through, can help us get good symptoms about them. This is how I do in my practice.
Okay. Dr. Sonali, thank you so much for addressing this question. Okay. So as women, we know when we say women are like multitaskers, we know. So we have a question on that right now. So how can I manage my time effectively while balancing personal life and the practice? So this question we have received in the chat as well, and the queries also, multiple queries received on the emails as well. So Dr. Aradhana,
Yeah,
would you like to
hi.
take the question?
Yeah, in fact, there's one more question which also says that women often juggle with different roles, and what are the unique challenges the woman faces when starting homeopathic practice, and how they can balance. So there's one more question very similar. I think many are wanting the answer for this. And what I can say, obviously, that when in the beginning, when you begin your practice, a lot of challenges. You want, firstly, yeah, balancing your personal life, the time you give to your family, to your children, and then when it comes to your practice, there also I think even kind of this the getting financial help if you have to start your practice, that also comes in the way, that in the initial life you need to have a good financial, so a kind of dependency on others. That is also one of the challenges, that apart from the time. So yes, we've all faced all of that. And so obviously what one needs to do is identify what are your commitments towards, firstly, your personal life, which I think is the most important priority that you have. So I can just give you an example of myself, what I did during my early times. Though nowadays there are better options, but what I can tell you, in those 25 years back, that I had to be in the morning, evening, I had to give time at home. So the only option that I had was to afternoons, noons, where I could practice. So I chose, and then with this kind of a little bit expecting from family to pay your rentals and your for the charges of the clinic, I started at home. That was my initial beginning. And so I think that worked for me. And also for me, it was very important that when my son comes home from school, I'm available. I mean, that was my personal feeling. If you have your personal needs or requirements, and that helped me, because I knew I'm seeing patients, but my son sees me when he comes home, and because I always felt that. So this is one thing I did, and I gradually grew up. And in the sense that when I could get more time, and I could devote a little bit time when your child grows up, there are many OPDs available, right? There are polyclinics available where you can get attached to those polyclinics, right? And they are also, there are many who do on percentage basis, right? On appointment basis. You can get attached to various polyclinics on appointments. You don't need to devote a lot of your time, but on appointments you can get. Plus, today, now the trend is of online appointments. So you can even give ask patients to get in touch with you online whenever when you have the time. So many vast options available. And I think most important, where there is a will, there is a way. So determination, need to start, and just go for it. And as also said, your boost would be all the background support, that we all are there. But yeah, I think nothing should stop you. You can just go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So Dr. Aradhana rightly said that where there is will, there is a way, which applies really in all situations of life, I must say. So, we would like to take up the next question. The question is, how can one become financially independent doing only homeopathy? So, Dr. Rishi, this question was asked for you.
So, the answer lies in the question by doing homeopathy. In a way, jokes apart, but honestly, saying that for any business or for anything, whether it is homeopathy or whether someone is starting his practice doing allopathy also, there is some time which has to be given, and this is a crucial time, right? It is a time where you have to wait and you have to give to your practice. And when you are giving time, it requires perseverance and patience. And most important time is that how you can increase your services. When I say services, that are you available for your patients, right? And it is something which is so crucial that will help you to build up your practice. So the answer to this question is that how can you improve your skills, your services, so that you can help your patient to get better. So whatever is needed for that, this is a time period you should utilize then. The moment you start having a little busy practice, which will happen eventually, even if you want to, you wouldn't get time to upgrade yourself. So I would always say that this period is very important for everyone in their life. And I am pretty sure on this panel, everyone would have given that time uh, uh, during which they have waited, they have sat in their clinic, they have waited for patients, but just not waiting will not help. What I would tell you is that this is a time where you can learn, you can revise your notes, you can revise your cases, read journals, enhance your skill. Just not sitting will help, right? So it is saying that when fisherman is not going to see, he is making his or repairing his net. So the time will come and there will be an opportunity where you have to give your best. So this is a time where you have to prepare. So it is a preparatory phase. So honor this preparatory phase, give time to it, and definitely things will come. Last but not the least, your availability matters a lot in practice. Like how Dr. Aradhana mentioned, Dr. Sunita Gandhi mentioned, and other colleagues on the platform mentions that are you available for patients anytime? And that is the basic success. If you're available in their thick and thin of their troubles, uh, this is the only quality which you need to be there, and that will eventually build your practice. It will give you referral. It will bring trust in your patients, and this is not less than building a financial independence later on. It is tough, but I can say slow and steady wins the race. It is that sort of thing. So don't be impatient initially that how much I'm earning, not though it is important, but eventually for your practice later on, that is the only way you can move forward. Thank you.
Really,
Thank you, Dr. Rishi.
I want to add with what Dr. Rishi said. One of our teacher used to tell us, if you have sugar, ants will come. So he used to tell us, focus on producing sugar. Don't worry about the ants. And if you focus on your skills, development of your skills, definitely patient will come. So as Dr. Rishi said, focus on your development of skills, sharpening your knowledge, definitely focus right on the producing sugar, everything will happen. Yes, thank you.
Very true, Dr. Shardul. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Rishi. Thank you, Dr. Shardul. Uh, the next question is Dr. Sadaf for you. Doctor has written, as I'm starting with practice after a long break, is it okay for me to accept challenging cases like cancer, autoimmune disorders, or should I play safe and take simple cases?
Okay, it's a very interesting question, and I know this question comes up with many students when they come for master course, when they come for fellowship or everything. So let me tell you one thing what Dr. Sunirmal Sarkar had told us when we were resident, and it was very interesting. He said he had come for a cancer seminar, and he said to us, whether it is treating cold cough, or it is treating cancer, it's equally difficult. And as much as cancer can trouble a person, so that much even a cold cough can. So if you want to start, like the first question which was asked to Dr. Rishi, how do I earn my bread and butter with homeopathic practice? And that's what he has said. You want your bread and butter and you want vitamin M flowing. So learn the art of treating cold and cough, and then think about treating cancers and everything. So it's not that it's discouraged to treat or take cancer cases. I think all of the cases from a simple fever to cancer requires equal amount of passion and equal amount of uh, energy to take that case and to follow up with that patient and to make sure that the patient is better. So like what Dr. Rishi said before, you have to be there for your patient, come what may. And if you're able to do that, automatically you can grow from financially, you can also grow from taking cold cough cases to cancer cases. It's just as simple as that. So any diseases it may be, and it also depends upon how much are you confident. So before you put in a board saying I'm treating cancer, are you confident about cancer? Is your knowledge, is your um, toolbox ready for cancer, with not just the knowledge of the remedies but knowledge about the disease and a lot of stuff. So if it is, then go ahead. If not, if you feel, start slow. And whatever disease you treat, it's like I said before, it's the result that matters. Even if it's a simple disease and you can relieve somebody from that, it may be simple for you, but it may not be simple for one who's suffering. So I think that's the key. Just understand how much is the patient suffering, be an empath, and once you understand that, automatically things will work good for you at whatever stage of practice you are.
Can I just add a little bit to what Dr. Sadaf said, which is very interesting? Um, uh, Initial practice, when you're not confident about taking up a very, the so-called incurable cases, even cancers, or, for me, I had a lot of cases of acute renal failures and chronic renal failures, and I felt I was not equipped enough to take the case. But I did not let the patient go. I would go with that patient to a senior homeopath, and I would sit and be part of that case. I would take the case, present it to a teacher or a senior homeopath, and I would handhold the patient throughout. Like, I still remember, maybe just like about 10 years back, an interstitial lung disease of a very close friend of mine. And I took the patient to Dr. Shankaran, and I spent more time with the patient than Dr. Shankaran himself ever. But one, I learned in the bargain how to go through the case, how Sir handles the cases. And two, the patient developed faith in me. And after that, the number of interstitial lung disease cases that patient has referred through his circle is amazing. And the patients have come to me. And by then, I felt more equipped. I felt I could take it up. Had I just let it go at that time, and no, I cannot do this, I am too young to do it, I think the rest of them would not have probably come to me, and my own knowledge would not have risen. So I think all of us at the other song, even I've worked with Dr. Sadaf also, we have constantly taken our patients to our senior teachers, and learned along the way as well. Yeah. So that was just one point I wanted to add.
So true what Dr. Sunita said, that it's not just about you treating the patient, but it's also when you refer your patient to a senior homeopath, you sit with them, you learn from them, and you develop, and the patient sees that you are interested in him or her, and they are suffering, and that's how they keep connected to you. So sometimes I know so many of my patients whom I was struggling with, and they were not better, and they go to another homeopath, or they either I refer them to somebody, but I keep pursuing them, like, as to how they are doing. So when they see that you are interested in their healing process, they automatically get hooked to you. It's like karma, when you do good things come back to you. So it's the simple philosophy. Whatever small it might be, your action, whatever small um, contribution it is, you keep doing it consistently, and that's the key of practice. And you have to see what's your bandwidth. Like, there are someone who are married or whether it's, I think it's not just female, it's also males who have a lot of responsibility to share. But equally, when you're taking up the responsibility, and if you have passion for this, you will, no matter what your situation is, you will put in small consistent action, which automatically will get you patients. That's it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sadaf. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunita, for the explanation, brief explanation about the question. So the next question, we have received this question also multiple times in the web chat also, and the queries received from the emails also. What are the financial challenges of setting up a practice, and how can we manage them? So Dr. Shardul's question was specifically asked for you. Dr. Shardul?
Yes. A very
Yeah.
important question, especially for the beginners, right? The financial challenge. Uh, Financial challenges are in different forms. First, the place of the clinic, then inventory of medicines, buying the software, the marketing of the clinics. There could be so many aspects, and now the era of marketing, social media. So that pressure is also we face, how much to spend, in what areas we should spend the money, and initially we are with the lack of budgets, right? What to do in that scenario? So I would suggest, as per your budget, you should go for it, right? While discussing, uh, Dr. Aradhna or somebody also shared that if you are tight with the budget to start with, you can think of starting online practice. So there will be no extra charges for the renting the place, or the because nowadays in metros and cities, or even in small towns also, the rents are right touching the sky. So you can start the online practice, and you can practice as per your convenience, as per your time. There will be very less investment needed in that, and you can definitely courier the medicine. You can send the medicine via speed post. So that option is available. And if you want to rent a place, so in that also there are options available. You can, if you don't have the budget, you have budget to start practice physically, you can rent a cabin in polyclinic or in a hospital for few hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. That could be also budget friendly. There will be no much investment needed in that, right? There will be no issue of paying the property tax and paying the bills and paying all other things. So you can search for the cabin in polyclinic or in hospital. That will be that would be also budget friendly. And if you have the good budget, definitely you can go for finding out a shop or a place on the rent, and you can start your practice. In the inventory, I would tell you, start with the basic inventory, the well-known 𝗏𝐴 remedies, few potency of the 𝗏𝐴 remedies. And I will tell you, friends, it is a lifelong journey. It is not in one time you invest and you will buy all medicine. It never happens, because we know in homeopathy, new case, new challenge. You don't know which remedy is going to come. So it happens eventually. You keep buying in medicines, you keep adding in your inventory. So it will happen eventually. Don't worry about that. Start with the basic 𝗏𝐴 remedy, as Dr. Sonali shared few 𝗏𝐴 remedy. You can start with them. Software, already Dr. Rishi has addressed that question. You can start with the basic software. Marketing part, as Dr. Sadaf also shared, result is the best, what you can say, the advertisement. But you can start with the basic budget, like maybe circulating the pamphlets, or putting on the social media, FB, Insta, right? That does not need a big budget, right? You can also do that. So start with a small thing, one step at a time. As I said, it is a lifelong journey. You can develop with your practice, and as per your budget, you can decide the option what I have shared you. So you can definitely address your financial problem. In small town, maybe the problem will be less. In cities, metros, there will be lot of competition you will face. But in metros, the lot of opportunities are also there, and lot of options like polyclinic will be available in big places. So I think every thing has pros and cons. So definitely you can decide as per your budget. Thank you.
Can I add something to what Dr. Shardul said about two things? One is marketing, and second thing is finances. So, to be very honest, from my personal experience, when I started off my practice, I had a lot of financial constraints. Okay, so getting on budget with a very big marketing thing and all was very difficult. And sometimes even YouTube, Insta, Facebook, they have a limitation, like unless and until you push ads or something, or if you're very good with your creative skills, then only the algorithm works, or you should have a very good knowledge about it. So there's a lot of complexity which for me was difficult to understand. I think what best works as a marketing gimmick is to get into communities where you can be in touch with the community in person. I think nothing beats in medical care, nothing beats the thing about going in person and educating, communicating with your crowd personally, number one. And because homeopathy comes with a lot of baggage of myths. So, being there, showing your passion and breaking their myths is very key. Second thing is, how do you break this thing about financial constraint of starting a practice? Like, for example, if somebody's in Mumbai, getting a shop rent is like 40-50,000, which is difficult, right? So, and in villages, I don't know, or different remote areas of India, it might be different, but sometimes even that amount is very difficult. So you can share your practice on a percentage basis with some of your senior doctors. That also helps in initially to have a financial stability. And yeah, online is also another way, but in online, like especially the Indian crowd, there is some limitation, but yes, definitely you can think of starting online or get into some like nowadays you have a lot of these online clinics and portals where you can be a part of, and you can start off your practice if you want to save money. So that's one thing.
Thank you, Dr. Sadaf. So, we have this question like, how do I select the first prescription with confidence? And Dr. Devang, this question is for you.
Okay. So first of all, we understood that we have to take a good case and get the exact symptoms. And I'm reminded of one story. And the story is of our Mahatma Gandhi. As you all know, that he was an advocate, and he was supposed to fight a case for some poor people in South Africa. And he had done all his homework, research and all that. And he was very anxious and apprehensive as to what's going to happen in the court the next day. And with this anxiety, he goes to his teacher at that time, whoever he was, and he told his teacher that, sir, I am very anxious about the result which is going to be conveyed tomorrow. So how do I deal with it? And his teacher gave a very nice answer, which is applicable for us as homeopaths or any part of life. His teacher told that, Mr. Gandhi, in the typical, foreign accent, he says that get the facts of the case right, and the law will take care of itself. And the same applies to us in homeopathy as well, that if we have good facts in the case that we have collected, and then we use our software, like for example, there was a question which is a reliable software. I believe Kent's repertory is one of the most fundamental and the reliable repertories. Then you have reliable repertory itself in Synergy, which is very authentic. And the third repertory, which is very authentic, is radar synthesis. What I mean by authentic is, along each rubric, the remedies which are given are verified from good sources and reliable sources. That is what I mean by authentic. So if you are able to kind of get all the factual data in the case properly and use our tools of repertory and then materia medica, then there are high chances that we will be successful. I am not saying that we will not fail. Everyone fails. And from the topmost teachers to the beginner who starts his practice, everyone has failures. So failure is not something that we can escape from. But if you are able to do these things, then the chances of going wrong are minimized. And I would like to just answer certain questions about what is a worry about finance. And there are two ways to deal with it. One is an outer way. Outer way is that, okay, you should have a good clinic, you market here, you get associated with this person, that person. All this is good. But there is something which is also called as inner development. Inner development means how much are we investing in our own, abilities to become a better homeopath. Now, this inner development can happen in many ways. Like there are some who will just read materia medica and then they will feel much more capable. There are some who will read repertory. There are some who will read organon. And there are some who would need who would need some assistance from teachers or some seniors and all that. And all these tools are available. In fact, they are much more available now. If you really ask me, the person who just passes out is coming on the YouTube and is saying that, okay, I have treated hundreds of cases of AIDS, for example. And I am like, I'm here for the last 20 years. I have not seen even 10 cases. I mean, so we'll have to find out teachers and mentors and materials which are very authentic and reliable. And this is where we have to use our Vivek Shakti, which is called as the power of discrimination. And that is how we can help. But the message that I want to convey is outer development is okay. But the more we develop inwards, how much materia medica we read, how much remedies we read, how much we know remedy in and out, that is what is going to build your practice. Because that is what is going to attract patients. Imagine that if you read Konayam today from 10 books, automatically there is a vibe that will be created inside you that, oh, if I have a case of an old person who has cancer of the breast with the history of injury or the trauma, or that person is a bachelor or a widow, I wish that I will give Konayam someday. The moment this wish is created in your subconscious mind, the universe will say, okay, take this case of breast cancer, take this case of prostate cancer. But unless and until we don't read, nothing is going to happen. So my message for today for all of you and for me as well is, the more we read, the more we are going to attract patients, because that's how we will be able to help more patients. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Devang. So we have this very anticipated questions received in the webinar chat also and the emails also. We have been saying that we need to be prepared with the medicines and XYZ factors, and we need to be just enlightened about all the things. But the major $1 million question is how to begin with. So Dr. Poonam has also asked, like, it has been a guru shishya parampara, but the homeopathic physician are not open to share and how to go about it. So Dr. Sunita, would you like to throw light on that?
Um, exactly, you need to begin, as I said earlier. If you look for the right teacher, the teacher comes only when the student is ready. So there is this statement that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So I will completely agree with Dr. Devang that, equip yourself also along the way. When you are equipped enough, you will find the right teacher. Each time I have got into serious study and serious desire to learn further, something has happened, some dynamics have changed. The other song came into being, when I really felt that, I want to go one step higher. I want to study further. I mean, I think I was 17 years into practice, and I had this very strong itch that, I mean, I'm practicing and all of it is good, but I still feel I need to sharpen my axe. That is sharpen my axe, meaning that I want to refine my skills and I don't know where to. And it was by chance in the polyclinic that I was practicing, there was a student who came and told me, there is something called the other song that is getting launched today. And there is a launch meeting at 2:30 and we were at 12:30 that time or something like that. And it was miraculous that I landed up at that meeting at the launch of the, certificate courses or the university courses by the other song. And since then to now, I have done every single course that the other song has given out. And I have kept my ego in my pocket and I have become a humble student and I have learned from everybody. There are a lot of people here in this panel who are like 10 years, 15 years junior to me. And I take great pride in saying I have learned from each one of them as well. Because, as a homeopath, you're a student always. And it is very, very important to learn from whatever source. And in fact, somebody asked on this group, okay, we are talking so much about, the starting of a new practice by people who've taken a gap. How do we equip? There are so many questions. How do we treat thyroid? How do we treat depression? How do we treat female disorders? So, it's wonderful that there is a course that has been, formulated for female homeopaths who want to restart after a break by the other song. We are calling it the RRR refresher course for female homeopaths. I'm going to share some details with you about it. So, you can look at this as your starting point. It's a short 12-day course, and it's called Revitalize, Reignite, Reconnect, Refresher course for female homeopaths. So it's a very flexible course. You can learn it online. You don't need to really come to any place, leave your home, come start with the basic knowledge. It's going to be in the evenings from 7 to 9, but if you're not free at that time and you have family commitments, recordings will be available and you can see it at your own time. So we'll begin with the beginning, the fundamental principles of homeopathy, and we will build on it. So we begin from where y'all have kind of ended and take you a lot of doctors who have gone through the same challenges, like managing time and, work-life balance. So they will also be talking about their own journey. The course will start on the 5th of May and will go on Monday to Saturday from 7 to 9 p.m. IST. So the other timings you can see on the screen, depending upon which zone you are from. And if you will see the kind of topics that have been formulated for this course, it's amazing. It's actually answering most of the questions on the chat box. How do we approach acute cases? How do we start the practice? How do we do a detailed case taking? How do we handle pediatric homeopathy? Scope of homeopathy in women's disorders like PCODs, thyroids, uterine dysfunctions. So a lot of information will be shared. So this could be actually a good start point of learning for you. And then you can build on this. There are so many courses. I mean, I am telling you, I have done fellowship in advanced homeopathy, fellowship in psychiatry, certificate course in homeopathy. I've done every course available because my quest for knowledge is never ending. And as a homeopath, you need to keep evolving. So doesn't make a difference if you had a break, no break, if you're in to practice like me 30 years, or if you have been practicing for 5 years, all of us need to refine our skills. So all of you who have had a little bit of break, come here. You will get a very good start point. In the end, we will also be introducing you to the sensation method. If that method has really, really helped all of us right now present in the panel. There's a fabulous array of teachers. I will be there. Dr. Aradhana Chitra, Dr. Sonali Bhosle, Dr. Rishi Vyas, Dr. Devang Shah, Dr. 𝓂𝓮𝓬𝓸𝓷𝓷𝓮𝓬, Dr. Shardu Joshi, Dr. Sadaf, and so many more. So, I mean, it's going to be like a buffet of teachers who have done it themselves. It's not that they are only teachers, they're fabulous practitioners, they have good practice, they're doing really good work in their own own clinics and in their own world around. So I think this will be the best place where y'all keep asking that how do we connect. People don't give out some of them said in the chat that senior practitioners don't really tell us what their first prescription was, if they failed in their first prescription, what they did next. This is the right place because I know personally each one of them, and all of us have grown with the same teachers, Dr. Shankaran, Dr. Jayesh Gandhi, Dr. Jayesh Shah, Dr. Mahesh Gandhi, Dr. Sujit Chatterjee, Dr. Sarkar, who have actually, taken us through this journey, and we are today because of them. So you have a chance to connect to somebody from this list and take your journey for ahead. So I don't think you should miss this. The course fees is mentioned here. It's 3,000 rupees for this 12-day course, but there's an early bird offer up to 20th of April where it's for 2,500. Plus also we have something which is called the refresher_10, the code that you'll get an extra 10% discount if you use this code from now, 7 p.m. onwards to 10th March, 12 a.m. So I really feel that, this is something that you should not miss. This is a good starting point, and then you can take your journey further. So for your registrations, these are the numbers and the email address. Do connect with Avni Madam, or you can write an email at the @gmail.com. Or you can also visit the website. So probably you can take a picture of this slide and take this further. Thank you. Over to you back, Julie.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sunita. I just want to say the link is been shared. The website link is shared in the the chat box. Okay, please refer the link. Okay, and whatever any queries, if we aren't able to answer in the webinar, so please drop your queries on the other song one@gmail.com. Okay, so we are always happy to help and answer your queries, and I really hope all the participants do find our course, the experience, absolute RRR, that is revitalizing, reigniting, and reconnecting with TOS. Okay, so let's move back to our Q&A session. So the next question is for Dr. Sonali. What essential skills should I develop to become a successful homeopathic practice? Dr. Sonali?
So yes. So I will say the 5 essential skills, to become a good homeopath. First is, and that if you're a good homeopath, what are the qualities of good homeopath? Because that will make his or her practice definitely improve on what all it is. So I feel first is being very open, having a very open mind towards your patients and towards the situations in their life. Okay. Having a very good communication, body language, so because as we all are aware, 95% of the work is done by body language. So though the patient comes, not on appointed time, or something happened and patient got late, or he has no money, or he feels, because those are the issues where we lose patients. Patients do come, but at times they are not getting better with our remedies, or something like financial issues might be the obstacle for them to reach you. So being a bit flexible, considering what is the background the patient is coming from, can help you retain your patients, and they will forward you more patients. Okay. As a person, if we are a friendly person, that is good enough. But otherwise, we have to develop these qualities of being a bit friendly than how we are, and it should be very natural. It should start from our neighborhood, helping patients if they call you, especially patients do call in neighborhood, ki doctor, please do come and see that's BP. Initially, they call for BP, let me tell you. And I know, I had gone with BP apparatus here and there running. So, if we put down our ego, I feel that is one very big step in our own evolution. Somebody has called you for, first they call for BP, then they call injection, come and, if you can give injection. Here you can tell them, how, if you are into homeopathy, or if you are not, you can refer them. He is a good physician. Why don't you go there? I will help you to connect with them. So if their simple queries of your patients are answered, they feel easy to connect to you. And once they feel easy to connect to you, we can schedule an appointment. Please schedule your appointment and be very professional of being in time, respecting others' time, and do the best possible for them in that hour of case taking or giving a remedy. Don't be in a hurry to give the remedy. You can process on the case, you can reread the case 2-3 times. Again, second day, read the case, because, and then because we are building a fresh perspective towards the case, and then see what remedy is the best suitable in this period of time. So as our results improve, first is as a person, we have to be quite empathetic, quite open, friendly, helpful, and then very professional in giving appointments, in scheduling follow-ups, in taking the case in detail. There we should be extremely professional. Don't be casual there. I feel here casual approach here can spoil the practice. Once the person knows that she is very genuine and doctor gave me a lot of time, and so that will build the trust and it will help us really to find a good remedy for them. So these are very important, and I don't think there is any shortcut to this. Because while I was in Bharati, we used to see in the OPD almost 50 cases, and and then I used to take the case with around 10 students standing there, and they used to get desperate. Why are you asking, ma'am? That physician is giving in 2 minutes. Why are you taking the case so long? So I used to say, I cannot, I have to reach that level. I have to reach 30 years of my practice to reach the level of taking characteristics in 2 minutes. Right now, give that whole time, see what is best possible you can do for them, and I feel that is that is not a secret, but that is a recipe for a good practitioner and to build a good practice.
Yes, Dr. Sonali rightly said, authenticity is really important. And thank you so much. We have this question, Dr. Aradhana. Can I practice part time before transitioning to a full time career?
Yes, very much, because in the initial time, obviously, the inflow of the patients may not be so much. So obviously, you can cut down a little practice time. But what I could also suggest, or also if you are trying to do something else in that period of time, like some do transcriptions and other things people like to do. But if in case you're doing anything else too, just ensure that you are available in terms of communicating with the patients at any time, given point of time when they want to talk to you or have a query. You are always available for them. You can always call them at that period of time when you want to see them, that short period of time. But I think your availability in terms of connecting, communicating is very, very important, because obviously you cannot expect a miracle that only during that 2 hours that you want to practice, the patient is going to call you and come. So the availability, general availability is needed, and then you can obviously do your other things if it satisfies this part. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aradhana. So we have here, you see the webinar is about to finish, so we can just take last few questions. So Dr. Rishi, this question is for you. What are the key rubrics I should focus on for common acute and chronic cases?
So my friends, the answer is not very straight here, but the answer, I would answer in a different way. Rubric comes in the last part of the selection when we are analyzing a case. It is not the first part of it. I would suggest that first to focus on the purity of symptom. That is the most important aspect. Whether you are able to convert into rubric or not, that is the last part when you are looking for repertory. So rubric comes when you have comprehended the purity of symptom. Now, once you understand the symptom, then you refer either to materia medica or rubric for your reference for totality and selection of a remedy. And then comes the role of repertory. Many of the people are very proficient in materia medica. So it doesn't mean that if you know materia medica and if you don't know repertory, you can't practice. No. Repertory again is a tool. And to understand a repertory, it needs a language that is called a rubric. There are so many people who can practice through materia medica knowledge, through their Allen's keynote and Boric and so and so. It will come eventually when you start understanding the materia medica and start looking into the repertory, that how do we convert this symptom or C into the repertory. But before that, in simple terms, I would say that focus your entire thing on identifying the purity of symptoms. Second, be very clear with the symptoms. And if you want to understand rubrics, my take would be start with very simple, clear rubrics which are very simple to identify and you are able to find out. For example, generals, particulars. This will bring your confidence and it will also help you because you're taking very clear, non-interpretative, clear, straightforward rubrics. Once you start with this and you have a background of materia medica with you, slowly your horizon of rubrics will increase. All rubrics are important if it is relevant to the symptoms. Any good rubric is not of any use if it is not there in patient. So any rubric will be good for chronic or acute is not a straight answer. The answer is you should know purity of symptoms. If you know the purity of symptoms, identify either in materia medica or in report. I hope this helps you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rishi. So we can take up the last question. Maybe the question is for Dr. Sadaf. Should I start with an online or offline practice?
Okay. So this is a very interesting question, online or offline. So personally, I will prefer an offline practice because it helps us to build credibility, it helps us to build trust. But having said that, I will say it's your decision to make. Consider before you decide whether should I start online, offline practice. First, understand what are your long-term goals? What are you really seeking out of your practice? Second thing is analyze your personal situation. Why do you want an online practice or why do you want an offline practice? Like when I said, although my personal preference, anything is offline because I feel it's more humane in touch. But when I had to move to Canada and then I knew it was not possible for me to have an offline practice here because of a lot of reasons for my visas to come through, etc., etc. I moved my practice online. Okay. So what is your situation? Or I remember one of our students from 𝐷𝐐 itself, she was wanting to have a practice, but immediately after internship, she got married and she got pregnant. But she was very desperate to start her practice. So then, and it was taking a toll on her mental health because she was not able to practice. So I suggested her to start with an online practice. So, you have to analyze your situation. I think anything, you cannot just copy somebody else's master plan. Number one, you analyze your convenience, your flexibility. What tools do you have? Do you have that bandwidth of internet, that communication tools in your hand? Then you decide. Or if suppose both is okay for you, you can always have a hybrid model too. But I think because it's a practice, you need to really focus on in personal care consultation. First reflect on your first comes is your long term goals. What is it that you're trying to build with your practice? Okay, then you see your personal preferences. Okay, then you see your situation. And secondly, and the most important, is your investment. See, offline practice obviously needs a higher initial investment. You need to rent a space, purchase equipments, furnishing, etc., etc. So you'll have to look into that. But if you can afford having a place and having a good, and your situations are okay for you to have an offline practice, I will suggest start with that, because it will establish your trust, credibility. Practices normally grow from word to mouth, like all of you, like right from what Dr. Devang said, to what Dr. Rishi said, to what Dr. Shardul, Dr. Sunita, Dr. Aradhana said. The main thing is building the trust and results. Okay. So once you build that, then you can move anywhere. I think for me to transition to online was easy because people already had that credibility and trust with me. My patient knew that, okay, we want to take medicines from her. So they decided to take it from me. So it's easy now. So you can see your situation, weigh pros and cons, and then take a decision. Also, when you're taking online, you have to be very careful about consent, medical legal aspects, because many times, because in online practice, you're not able to physically examine a patient. So it's risky. So are you that much equipped to take that risk? For me, it's easy because if I'm stuck with my patient for a physical examination, I know I have my backup doctor. There are doctors at other song who can help me out. Like I often then refer my patient to Dr. Manish or Dr. Shazia, who physically examine the patient, or they see through the patient's what's happening, and then they tell me, and then we discuss the case, and then I can prescribe. So I have that bandwidth. So do you have that bandwidth? And medical legally, have you prepared your patient? So like before you send out your patient for an appointment, make sure you tell them that it's an online practice and it may have some of its uh, limitations. Okay, explain to them, and if they consent to it, then go ahead. So that's how you have to prevent medical legal, and make sure you're documenting, like how Dr. Shardul said, so that you are safe from any medical legal problems. Okay, so these things you have to consider when you decide what kind of practice you want to start.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Sadaf. So I must say we have come to an end of this enriching session. I hope you find this session absolutely RR, I must say, igniting, revitalizing, and reconnecting. I just hope. So I just want to take a moment first to thank our incredible experts, to sharing their insights, expertise. Okay, and I really hope they were truly radiant, ravishing, I just told, and rejoiceful. Okay, and I just hope every information which was shared over here is absolute a benefit to you all people. Okay, and the information shared by Dr. Sunita Gandhi, I hope it was really helpful to you. I've shared the link regarding the course in the web chat over there. Okay, so the coupon code, you can just avail the offer 10% off from today right now, like 7 p.m. to 10th March 12 a.m. So please do join us, and let's reconnect with TOS, reignite homeopathy, revitalize confidence. Yes. So the last few words, panelists, you want to say something?
Just reignite the passion for homeopathy.
Yeah, and
Once
we
the
welcome you all uh, um, to the course and start.
You do not need to be great to start, but you can begin and go on to your journey to becoming great. Yeah. So welcome everybody.
In
Yeah,
simple
and there's no
terms, just start. That's all. Wherever, however, in whatever way, start practicing, start seeing patients. That's the only thing you have to do right now, nothing else.
So there is one
And we
dialogue in the movie, right? Three Idiots. कामयाबी के पीछे मत भागो, काबिल बनो. So, right, this is the chance to become, right, काबिल.
Nice. Kabil
Yeah.
Bano. Very good.
yes, slow and steady wins the race. Let's where there is will, there's a way, right, Dr. Aradhna?
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
you know, Nike ka wo logo mein hai, just do it.
Yes, yes.
So irrespective of the results, success, failures, these are all different for everyone. Don't put it under the scale of what society or world puts it on. Just keep doing what you can and let the results flow. That's it.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you, Hema. Thank you, Tamjeet. Happy Women's Day to all once again. And Women's Day, I must say, it's not only today, it's every day, because it's just celebrating love, strength, compassion, care, love, every day, I must say. Thank you, Anju. Thank you, Christine, for the wonderful compliment to all of us. Yeah, so drop your queries on the other song one@gmail.com.